Higher education in the United States should be free, and I'm going to tell you why. We all grow up with this American dream. It's portrayed to us by society, by our families, by our high schools, even elementary and middle schools. It's always, what are you going to be when you grow up? You have to go to college. The American dream sort of goes in these steps for a lot of people. First is to become a college graduate. Then you're supposed to get a decent job because you have a college degree. Then you'll make a substantial income and you'll live your happily ever after, whatever that consists of. But really, what happens in America is that around 71% of college graduates now graduate with a student loan. So as the years have gone on, the percentage of graduates that acquire student loans throughout their education have increased exponentially. And in the United States, the student loan debt acquired by a 2015 college graduate, which is just last year, is a little more than $35,000. So that's like a brand new Mercedes that you're going to have to be paying on while you're trying to find a job and make it out there on your own. The class of 2015 was dubbed the most indebted class ever by the Wall Street Journal because of the amount of student loan debt that it had acquired by the time of graduation. And half of college grads in the U.S. are underemployed. And underemployed means that they are working in jobs that they are overqualified for. It was just a few years ago, back in 2012, where half of college grads in the U.S. were unemployed. People had these degrees, but there weren't any jobs for individuals in our country. It has improved since then, but Americans with accredited bachelor's degrees and beyond are still finding themselves in positions that they are overqualified for because we have tended to develop into an overeducated and underskilled nation. And what I mean by that is that a person who is a plumber, for instance, can make more a year than a college professor just starting out. So that sort of devalues the education process, the higher education process anyways. The majority of U.S. college graduates enter the professional workforce in order to start paying off the debt they acquired in order to enter the professional workforce. This is just my own personal statement, and it's completely circular logic. I mean, if you look at it and read it again, it just goes in one giant circle. We go into debt in order to be able to have a career, in order to pay off the debt, which was the original reason we went into debt. This is just unacceptable to me. It makes absolutely zero sense. The international reality outside of America is that higher education is free in many countries. Especially in Germany, that was a big thing in the news. Their tuition before they went completely free was about $600 per student anyways, but then they just decided to make it a completely free system. Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Mexico, Brazil. So our neighbors to the south as well, not just European countries. Many other European countries have placed caps on tuition nationally. In England, it is capped at $14,000 a year. Mind you, this is in pounds, not in US dollars. Some have no interest rates at all for student loans and repayment, and many countries in Europe that are not totally free require you to have an income of $50,000 in order to start making paybacks on these interest-free loans. So In the United States, as you all know, that is absolutely not the case. We do not even have a system that is similarly lenient to that. And this is just a statement by a German lawmaker, which I thought was incredibly powerful with this particular topic. They were asked why they got rid of tuition fees in the country of Germany, and this individual said, "We got rid of tuition fees because we do not want higher education, which depends on the wealth of parents." And that is exactly what higher education depends on when you have these extremely high tuition fees. If you do not belong to a wealthy family, you are stuck with acquiring student loans. And I don't know if any of you have received any emails yet from your lenders, but I certainly have. And it's always funny to me how they denote in the email, "Don't worry about repaying your loans now. We want you to just focus on your education. But FYI, here are the tens of thousands of dollars we'll be waiting to collect 6 months after you graduate." If this is America and supposedly the land of opportunity, where many people from many different countries across the whole world move to because of the freedoms and because there's such growth and opportunity here, we're viewed as a progressive nation. These are the questions I have for you and everyone else in our country, especially those developing education budgets. Why should higher education in the United States continue to be a private benefit? Why shouldn't knowledge be public? Why is an individual's enthusiasm to learn and better themselves not enough? Why is money behind the reason why an individual is accepted into college or can even attend a college? You can be accepted into a college, you can be accepted into an Ivy League school, but if you can't afford the tuition between the money you have and grants, which, by the way, all grants and aid that's offered to college students in the United States has not gone up as the tuition cost has increased. So tuition's going up, aid and grants are staying here, and the deficit is just getting higher and higher for how much more we will owe once we graduate. If an individual wants to better themselves and wants to learn, I don't understand why that's a minimal requirement in order to obtain a higher education. Why is it okay for higher education in the United States to continually springboard young people into debt? Why should young people why should young people be encouraged to go to college, but at the same time, the experience that is supposed to jumpstart their career is actually setting them back financially? Why should the quality of higher education in the United States depend upon how much money a person and or their family have? I still cannot get over, why do you have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lineage in order to attend a higher education Ivy League school in the United States? If an individual is intelligent enough and driven enough and meets all of the intellectual requirements in order to obtain a higher quality education, then they should be able to receive one free of cost. Right now, acquiring knowledge in the United States is a hindrance to financial stability and success. That is a fact. As a college student, obtaining my bachelor's at the end of this year, I will be around $40,000 in debt. and I have attended community college. And I attended a cheaper version of a state university at the Queensbury branch. This to me is just sort of all part of the system that we have in our country where people that are intellectual and bettering themselves and that are smart are automatically set back financially as soon as they graduate. So what's going on in their mind is not so much what job can I obtain in order to start my life and, enjoy the rest of my life and enjoy a particular career path. What's more going through their minds is what job can I obtain that will help me pay off my student loan debt before I die. And to me, this is all just sort of this twisted system that we have to inhibit intelligent people from moving up and climbing the ranks. And in the end, I think that this brings us to where we are today, where an individual like this is now a serious candidate for presidency.